Hey everyone, my name is Mars, like the planet, and this is Housewarming. Me and my partner have just purchased our very first home, so if you're interested in design, homemaking, and figuring it all out, make sure you subscribe. Today I'm coming at you headless because I am going to be showing you all of my tattoos. Now, if you did not know, I actually have a few tattoos, and just because you've only seen probably from here up, I'm going to take you through every single one of my tattoos and show you exactly where the placement is, what the pain level was, and the story behind each. So let's get into it. So I'm going to go chronologically through all of the tattoos that I've got. So the first tattoo that I ever got was when I was 18. I got this tattoo on my wrist. It is a Fleur and it is the symbol for New Orleans, Louisiana. It is the symbol for the New Orleans Saints. It is a French symbol, so it does come from our French ancestry, I guess, but it is actually in the shape of a flower. The Fleur de lis symbol comes from a flower shape or an iris shape. So I got this tattoo when I was 18 because my mom actually has the exact same tattoo. And when my sister turned 18, she got the same tattoo. So this tattoo just represents my hometown. It represents the city of New Orleans to me. I moved away from New Orleans when I was only in 5th grade because of Hurricane Katrina. So it just means a lot to me to have a piece of my city with me. The next tattoo I got was when I was in college. It is 3 roses on my shoulder blade. Now, I got this tattoo to represent my accomplishments. Now, that does sound a little weird, but when you think about it, every single time you do something that is a big decision in life, which is a big deal, like say your graduation, you're closing on a home, a big recital, you always get flowers. So I use that to represent every single thing that I've accomplished, just so I don't feel like I'm always having to get a new tattoo for this cool thing or that cool thing. I got this tattoo to represent all of the things that I will accomplish, that I have accomplished, that I'm going to accomplish. I got 3 roses to represent the past, present, and the future. I do love the placement of this. I think it's very delicate. I think it's very nice. I would say that this is probably my most painful tattoo because it is right here on my collarbone, but I do love it just because I love the style. I love the fine lines. I will say that when I was getting this tattoo, because he was doing such fine line work, it felt like he was almost tattooing up my neck. My legs were shaking. It was really bad. He had to stop and ask me if I was okay, and I braved through it, but I will say because of the fine line work and the placement, this is probably my most painful tattoo. The next tattoo that I got is right here on my thigh. It is a tattoo of a bird cage. It has a couple of flowers around it. The flowers at the top are orchids, which represent my grandmother and grandfather, and then the flowers at the bottom are irises, which are planted outside of my family home, and they represent my mom and my sister. Now, I got this bird cage just to represent my life. This is my home. It's surrounded by my family, and I'm always welcome home. That's why the door is open, but it is still a cage at the end of the day, and I want to fly free. I want to be out. Even though it seems like a nice home, it seems like a nice place to be, it still at the end of the day is a cage, and I do want to fly free. I think the biggest question I always get is, where is the bird? And I have to always say, I'm the bird. I am the bird that is flying out of the cage. I do think that this is probably my least painful tattoo. I will say that the thigh is not a painful place to get a tattoo at all, just because of the muscle and the fat that is right here. So this one was pretty easy to get through. I will say that there is a mess up in this tattoo. If you notice it, comment it down below. But I will say that I don't mind it. I think that if it was drawn completely the way that a bird cage is supposed to be, that it's fine. Like I'm not mad at the artist or anything. I honestly did not notice, and he didn't notice either, but I still do love this tattoo. The next tattoo that I got is on the opposite thigh. These tattoos are the exact same size. They're about 8 inches long, but this tattoo is of a wonderful portrait of a lady. It is by Sara Golish. She is an artist that does a lot of illustrations of Black women, and I just got this tattoo to represent my Blackness. I am an African American woman, and I think that my Blackness is beautiful. It is powerful. So I wanted to get a tattoo to represent this. I know a lot of people see this and they're like, who is this a portrait of? Who is this of? And I'm like, it's just an illustration. She has a ton of different types of illustrations and portraits of Black women. This is the one that I chose just because I love the afro. I love the pick in the hair. I love her face. I just love everything about this tattoo. And this is not a new concept or idea. This is something that I have seen multiple times on women. So I just love this tattoo so much. I will say that once again, because it was on my thigh, I will say that when when my tattoo artist was doing the pick in the fro, it was very, very painful just because it is towards the inner thigh. And it was just those fine needles. It was really hurting, but obviously the pick is very small, so it got passed pretty quickly. But a lot of the fine line work was just the more painful parts of this tattoo. This one healed very beautifully, but it was super painful afterwards. After a tattoo, my thigh was so sore, I could barely walk. I got it around my birthday, so I had a birthday dinner to go to afterwards, and it was just so painful to walk. But I will say that this is probably one of my favorite tattoos. It is just so beautiful and so well done. The next tattoo that I got is this one on my forearm. It is of the moon. I designed this tattoo myself. And yes, I do love the moon. I am one of those people who goes outside and I'm like, look at the moon. I love looking at the moon. I love the full moon, but I will say that this tattoo represents more than that. I named this tattoo my Heavenly Bodies tattoo just because the moon is a heavenly body, but also it is on a heavenly body. I do want to say a trigger warning for self-harm, so I will put a time on the screen so you can skip forward. But I did suffer with self-harm, especially on this arm. This is an arm that I used to scratch. I used to hurt. I struggled for a long time. I finally got a tattoo to cover up the scar that was permanently on my arm from self-harm. Every time I would look down, I would see the scar on my arm and it would just remind me, and it would make me even more mad, and I would self-harm again. So I got this tattoo because I did not want to hurt myself anymore, and I knew that if I got something to cover it, I got something that I knew I wouldn't hurt or harm, that this is something that just represents the end of that chapter and the start of something more beautiful. So I got this tattoo a couple of years ago, and it was probably right before the pandemic, but it is just absolutely beautiful. I love the detail on it. This one did not hurt too bad at all. I think it just came out super beautiful. I love the stars around it, and I love the detail that is in the moon. The next tattoo I got is on my forearm. I am planning on some point getting a full sleeve, so that is why all of the tattoos on my arm are on this side. But I do have a tattoo right here. This is actually a matching tattoo. Me and my sister have the exact same tattoo. This is a tattoo for my grandfather. He called us Babe, and so that's why we got this. This is kind of reminiscent of those vintage sailor mom tattoos. So I designed this myself as well. I picked the lettering out just because I wanted a nice vintage lettering, and these are magnolia flowers. I think that it came out really nicely. I was a little hesitant about the shading of the heart. I didn't want it to be too dark or too light, but I do think that it healed beautifully. I love the magnolias. They also just represent the magnolia tree that was outside of my grandfather's home, and it is also the state flower of Louisiana. But I love how this tattoo came out, and it is always just a great representation of the close bond that I have with my grandfather. The next tattoo that I have is actually not here yet. It is a tattoo that I designed that will go on my forearm. It is for my dad that passed away last year due to cancer. And so I will pop a picture on the screen of the tattoo that I am getting. So this is a tattoo that I designed myself. Once again, it is of a drag racing car, and it is surrounded by sunflowers because that is the flower that represents Leo, because he was a Leo. He loved drag racing, and the week before he passed, that is the thing that we did. We watched the drag racing finals, and it was just a great close to his life and to our relationship. So I do plan to get a tattoo on my forearm right here. I just haven't got it yet, even though it has been a year since he's passed. I still want to get it, obviously, but I have not found the right artist to do it. You can obviously tell that I love vintage tattoos. I love that look. I love the shading of it. So once I find the right tattoo artist, I will definitely add that. I also am planning on getting a tattoo around my knee. I want to get a tattoo of some words at the top of my knee and then some words at the bottom of my knee to represent my relationship with my grandmother, who passed away this year in 2022. She just passed away from Alzheimer's, but she always used to say, life is a life worth living. She would sing that song all of the time. So I do plan to get life is a life and then worth living curved around here. I do plan that this will be probably one of the most painful tattoos just because it is on my kneecap. This is the first time that I will be getting a quote tattooed on me, so I just wanted to do it in an interesting way. So that does it for all of my tattoos. I really hope that you enjoyed them. I love every single one of my tattoos. I do think they were all worth the pain, but I post new videos every single Wednesday, so I will see you guys next week. Bye.